Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the last session of the Education USA Brazil Virtual Roadshow for 2022. Thank you for joining us. Today, we are going to be talking about the advantages of community colleges and the transfer process. I'm going to switch to Portuguese for just a minute. Boa tarde, pessoal. Muito obrigada por estarem aqui num sábado à tarde. Sejam muito bem-vindos. Hoje nós vamos falar sobre as vantagens de estudar em community colleges e o processo de transferência. Vai ser uma sessão com muita informação sobre essas instituições que estão cada vez mais populares e mais no radar dos alunos brasileiros. Então, aproveitem essa super oportunidade. Durante a sessão, vocês podem colocar suas perguntas no Q&A aqui embaixo. E depois da sessão principal, vocês vão receber os links para falar com os representantes nas próprias salas deles no Zoom. Então, não percam essa oportunidade. Vai ser uma sessão incrível, aproveitem muito. And okay, so I think we are ready to start the session. Chris, the floor is yours to share the screen.
All right. So sorry, let me do this real quick. Screen. Okay.
So I'm going to start, and today we want to just make sure that everyone understands what community colleges are and how that might be a big benefit for your university options coming from Brazil to the United States. So if you were to come to the US to study, you would be wanting a 4-year degree that in the US is called a bachelor's degree. And basically, there's 2 ways to do that in the US. It's unique to the US and some to Canada, that you could go first to a 4-year university and stay all 4 years, or you could start first at a community college. It's the same as the first 2 years of university, same courses, same activities. You get complete credit, and then you take that work that you've done from the community college and you transfer that into the 3rd year at any university in the US or Canada. So let's look at the next slide. I think it's, there we go. So this is an option that in the US, 50% of all the students finishing high school and beginning their university do. So half of all Americans do this. It's a huge number, but among those, there's 96,000 international students. So in the US, there's 1,100 community colleges, and half of all Americans finishing high school start their university experience at the community college. Basically, again, it's the first 2 years of university. It's the same course of study, the same criteria for evaluation. So universities will accept those courses as being the same as theirs when you transfer. So you complete the first 2 years, and if you look at the yellow arrow going up, you can earn an associate's degree. That's what is available after 2 years at a community college. Or the orange arrow going down, you can transfer without an associate's degree. Many universities don't require the actual associate's degree from the community college. They just require the coursework that you've done at the community college. Then you go into the 3rd year at the university, and you do the 3rd and 4th year, and the university degree comes from the university, not from the community college. It's a great opportunity, and there's 4 basic reasons why students do that, and we'll let you know those reasons as we move through the presentation. But basically, it's much less money. You save a whole lot, either as an American student or as an international student. It's easier to get into. So there's no SAT required, no entrance exam, nothing like the vestibular in Brazil. The classes are smaller, so it's easier to be successful because you've got a lot of individual attention, and the classes are all taught by full professors. But the biggest reason is that it's easier to transfer from a community college into the 3rd year of a very successful, very selective university than it is to go to a selective university right out of your high school. And the reason for that is because The universities, when you transfer from a community college in the US, only look at the marks from the community college, not at entrance exams, not at the marks from your high school. So it becomes a second chance, and it's a second chance in an environment that's very supportive. Next slide. The whole idea of the community college is to give students who are finishing high school more access to a university degree. And basically, to go back just a little bit to how this all started, in the 1940s in the US, there were many people returning from World War II, and there weren't nearly enough spaces in universities. So our government decided to encourage states, each individual state, to develop a system of community colleges where there was one within driving distance of every American home, where students could go, live at home, and study 2 years that would be the same as the university. They also have the option at community colleges of studying for a vocational program to get a job, but most international students are interested in this aspect that allows students to transfer. So they developed the systems with the universities that were near them so that the courses that were at the university or at the community college would be the same as those that are at the university. So students could be sure when they finished the program of the first 2 years at the community college that they would be guaranteed to be able to go into the third year at a university. That makes it open enrollment so that many more students are able to access higher education. And from the very beginning, the cost has been very low.
All right, thank you, George. I'm going to share some data and some numbers with all of you to put into context who is studying in the United States, and especially numbers from Brazil. The next slide, please. So currently in the United States, there are more than 900,000 international students who are studying at colleges and universities throughout the country. Brazilian students, Brazil is one of the top sending countries to the US. It moved from number 9 to number 8. And with our panel here today, 3 of the top 5 receiving states are represented, Florida, California, New York, Massachusetts, and Texas, but Brazilian students are studying all over the country from north to south and east to west. But some really interesting data, because we're focusing on community colleges today, and we are representing community colleges and talking about the 2+2 model, that pathway that works so well in states around the country. And Brazilian students already know this. You can see here 17.28% of Brazilian students who are studying in the US are studying at US community colleges. And so that's great to see. Almost 15% of Brazilian students who are studying in the US as well are participating on OPT. And I think that's, OPT is optional practical training, or the work permission that students receive after graduation. I think that's a great sign. When we have such a high percentage, more than 17% at community colleges, if they're working on OPT, that means they are being successful and they are graduating and transferring and then applying for a work permit. So that's great to see. 61% of Brazilian students are studying at public colleges and universities. We are all representing public institutions here today, and more than 50%, so more than half of international students coming from Brazil are studying at the undergraduate level and participating in this 2+2, 2 years at the community college and then 2 years at the university. So I think Brazil is a great example of a success story with this pathway and with this model, because they continue to send students to the United States to attend community colleges, earn their associate degree, and then transfer successfully to the university to continue studying for a bachelor's degree. So I'll pass it on to our colleague Ryan from the University of Missouri.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike. So as mentioned, my name is Ryan Griffin. I'm the Director of International Admissions at the University of Missouri, and I'm representing the only four-year school here today. So now we're going to look a little bit at the second half of that 2+2 process and how this does help international students to go on and earn a bachelor's degree in their chosen field at just about any school in the U.S. So as George and Mike have kind of already presented, with 2+2 programs, students are able to come and finish the first 2 years of their studies at a community college, and they look to transfer to any four-year program in the US. So many four-year schools will intentionally save seats for transfer applicants within their classes because we know that students coming from a community college background can have very strong academic records and can be a real benefit to our campuses. So students that do opt for this can take advantage of transfer agreements that their community college may have. Oftentimes, as noted on the slide, those may be within a certain state because, as mentioned, many of us are public institutions, and so there's going to be natural connections there between two-year and four-year schools within the same state, and those may take the form of guaranteed transfer agreements. So you as a student can know exactly what coursework you need to take and what sort of marks you need to earn to be able to directly enter into that four-year school after you've completed your associate's degree. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go to schools that already have partnerships or that you can stay within one state. For many students, the opportunity of a 2+2 can be to see completely different parts of the United States in your educational journey. That can be an exciting thing. Obviously, like Brazil, the United States is very large, very different from region to region. And that can be an exciting piece for students to say, start their career maybe in Florida or California, and then decide to study in the Midwest or the Northeast or Texas or a different area. Now, as mentioned earlier, students that are going to be applying to schools on the second half and the second half of that 2+2, schools at universities and four-year schools are really going to focus on what they've done at the community college. So even if you maybe had some rough marks during your secondary school, or maybe you applied to universities and didn't receive the admission that you had hoped for, as George mentioned, this can be a great second chance. You're able to start at a community college. And then for us universities that are looking at students' records, we're going to focus on what you've done recently, what you did in those last 2 years at that community college. So you're going to have the chance to really recreate your academic record. Now, for students transferring in, one of the big important pieces is what that coursework is going to look like at the four-year school. So again, for any schools that already have articulation agreements, most of that coursework is going to be completely mapped out. You'll be able to know exactly what the courses you took at your community college will count for on that four-year school's campus, and then you'll have academic advising and transfer teams to help you look at what the remaining degree requirements would be to complete that bachelor's degree on the four-year campus. Now, these are typically going to be very different admission requirements for freshmen and transfer students, including maybe within English proficiency. I know at my four-year school, students coming from community colleges that have already completed that associate's degree, that's going to actually go ahead and wipe out the requirement for an English language exam, knowing that those students have already worked and excelled in an English environment. It's also going to be one that you'll want to make sure that you look at if there's different scholarship opportunities. So for many schools, the freshman and transfer scholarships may look a little bit different. So make sure that you're connecting with that four-year school and receiving the up-to-date information on what they require and what they offer for students looking to transfer. And now I think we'll turn it over to Chris to continue talking about if that 2+2 model might be a good fit for you.
All right, thank you, Ryan. So after all of that information, is a community college a good fit for you? There's a lot of opportunities to provide access, but because of that, I like to say that community colleges are a good fit for all. And for students really concerned about not finding a place at a US university or college, the community colleges are really here for you as always an option for you to do. But what I always tell students if they're considering a community college is do a college readiness assessment. Basically trying to understand your academic profile to see if it fits elsewhere or at a community college. So for example, if you're really interested in transferring to a particular university, you might want to ask yourself right now, am I academically competitive or do I fit the academic profile of that university? Does that include me meeting the English proficiency requirement? Does that mean also requiring a holistic application? And what a holistic application is basically that a university will look at multiple aspects of your application, not just your academics, but it could be your involvement in school, your leadership opportunities, your test scores, or whatever it is. Oftentimes, I find with international students that some of these holistic experiences are not available to them, but by coming to a community college, you can have those experiences with us. So therefore, you have something to write about in your transfer application should that university require things like extracurricular activities and leadership and whatnot. Okay, their financial capacity, like community colleges are, for the most part, affordable. Affordable is a relative term. So make sure you have a very honest conversation with you and your families of your ability to pay for universities and colleges in the United States. Community colleges also range in terms of the cost of attendance, so do your research there. And just a quick disclaimer, if you are needing full financial aid scholarships, needing, not just seeking, we might not be the best fit for you, as most community colleges cannot meet full need for students. But do your research. Maybe there is one out there, and I'll talk about the number of community colleges in the next slide. And do you have a major decided? Are you sure of what you want to study for your undergraduate degree? Community colleges is a really great way for you to explore, because one, it's cheaper to go to community college to do that exploration, and community colleges have a wide range of programs, classes, and academic programs for you to choose from. Okay. Now, how do you choose a community college? Now, we have about 1,000 community colleges in the United States. So how do you really choose a school that is a good fit? Okay. Much like how you would choose a four-year university, look at the general interest of the school that's offering. Does it have the major that you're interested in? Location, the United States is very big. So where do you want to live? The cost of living is different in the United States as well. So you might want to look at that. But I think the two most important things that students should be looking for is, one, the accreditation of the school, because accreditation is going to allow the community college classes to transfer to a university. So make sure that you look specifically at the regional accreditation of the community college that you're attending. Okay. And the most important thing for international students is really strong international student support. As an international student in the United States, you do have specific needs that need to be met, and different types of guidance that we understand to support our students. So international student support is the most important thing. If you look at a community college's website and it's easy for you to find the international student website, likely that community college is going to have that support that you need. And I can really attest, any community college that works with Education USA has a very strong interest in supporting international students. So hopefully that will limit your search amongst the 1,000 community colleges in the US. Yeah, I'll turn it over to the next slide.
Hi, my name is Claudia Ortiz, and I'm going to talk about why the community college, it has strong programs similar to the four-year college. I'm really strong believer on a community college, not only because I work, but from my personal experience, I attended at a community college, and I was able to find all the support through so many of the programs that are outside from the classroom. And some of those we will be talking about basically mentoring program. A lot of times students, as Chris mentioned it before, you're finding sometimes that you're exploring your interests, and why not really considering in this mentoring program? Community college, they have amazing supporting program for the students outside from the classroom through these mentoring programs, such as the pairing the students with someone that is already in the field. They also have the opportunity for the students to explore their interest to internship. Many community colleges, they have this opportunity for the students already to work in the field that they are interested. So we definitely see that the students benefit, not only because there is the class size, a student really get to know the professors, and they get to know you because of the size of the classrooms. It's not like really a lecture size, and you really find a very really rich community. And in the classroom and outside. And I'll tell you, every community college really focus on really building this engagement, even though the students are coming and have so many responsibilities, they have jobs, they have families, but they really made the effort for the students to integrate in the classrooms through a lot of the clubs or organizations. And we have seen that the students take the opportunity and to grow into the classroom and professionally. And it is so rewarding to see the students to take advantage, because it not only helps them personally, but once you transfer to a 4-year college, you bring all those strong skills that you have gained through this leadership program. So it's definitely one of the things that we encourage you. And we definitely guarantee you that these are some of the programs that any community college will have for you if you decide to attend any of them. So I'll pass it to one of my colleagues.
Hi, I'm John Yeo. I have been the California Community College for 26 years, a faculty member and the administrator. So I will talk about the California Community College system a little bit. So as everything, California is always about 10%, a little bit over 10% of the US. So as you can see, as Chris mentioned, there's over 1,000 community colleges in the United States, and California have 115. So it's the largest higher education system in the United States, governed on the top by a chancellor with a governing board with the 17 members appointed by the governor of the state of California. So we have about 2.5 million students. Right now it's down a little bit because of the pandemic. Over 400,000 classes, over 50% of the CSU graduate that actually went through community college. For the UC is about 30%. So our California Community College offer great programs. So as a matter of fact, the state legislature just passed a law recently requiring all college and university use the same number system for transfer courses. So in the future, maybe a few years, for example, Calculus 1, for example, will be numbered the same throughout the 115 community college and also the CSU and the UC. Okay, so the quality, as far as the quality is concerned, they're all similar. So as Chris mentioned, when it comes to the choice, which college you should go, right? It's really a personal faith and preference. So maybe it's the location, maybe it's the availability of the programs, major or services. So for example, if you like big city, you may choose to go to LA area or San Francisco Bay Area. But on the other hand, if you prefer a low cost of living area and with a beautiful environment, you may choose to go to a rural college and like Shasta College, right? So next, please. Now, the California Community College system has produced some great alumni. So you can see George Lucas. I'm sure if you a big Star Wars fan, you know that George Lucas is the creator of Star Wars, right? Steve Jobs, who is the co-founder of Apple Computer, right? So we all used to know Apple Computer. So I won't go through all the list, but I want to mention that our governor, Governor Schwarzenegger, who was the governor back probably 10 or 15 years ago, who actually was an international student. And he originally came from Austria. And he went through the community college system and they got a bachelor's degree and eventually become the governor, the greatest governor of the great state of California. So maybe you come here, eventually you'll become our governor, right? So I'll pass on to next. So that's my part. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Joel from San Jose City College in Silicon Valley, California. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the agreements that community colleges have, the transfer pathway programs and agreements California community colleges have with other schools in California and across the US. So in California, there are 3 types of public schools. for public universities, the University of California, which you've probably heard of, UCLA, UC Berkeley. There's 13 or so of them. And then there's California State Universities. Our neighbor is called San Jose State or Long Beach State or San Diego State. There's, I think, 22 about of those state universities. And then as we shared before, there's 115 community college systems, community colleges. And we have agreements and programs that can guarantee admission to some of these bigger schools, to these universities, if you meet the requirements. And so just depending on this, you see all these different acronyms. And so it's called the Associate Degree for Transfer. And these are programs that can, if you meet the requirements and you follow this pathway, you can be guaranteed admission to a program at a specific school. And what's kind of also unique to California community colleges is that we have dedicated academic counselors who work really close with you to help you achieve your educational and professional goals. So when you arrive, you'll start working with your academic counselor to say, hey, I really want to go to UCLA to study business. And then they'll develop this plan with you. And if the TAP program is a good pathway for you, they'll work with you together to make sure that you can achieve that goal. Or many of our students want to transfer to San Jose State University because of their strong business program and their computer science programs. And so we have some agreements with them, and that if you can follow the right pathway and complete all the right courses, then you'll be getting guaranteed admission. And this is a great opportunity for students, yes, who want a second chance, because you also get a little bit of a bigger boost when you're applying. So if you go to school in San Jose, you get a little bit of an extra bonus for going to San Jose State. And as we shared earlier, for every one freshman admitted to a university, about 3 transfer students are admitted. So you see the acceptance rates there. Next slide, please. And then the other great thing about community college is the tremendous value you can receive for the cost of attendance. It's significantly cheaper than for your first 2 years than going directly to a 4-year university. And this is a great opportunity for students to have more opportunity and access. And this is not just for students who want a second chance, it's also for students who have different priorities or different financial capacities. The valedictorian from my high school chose to go to our local community college because she knew she wanted to go to UCLA, but she wanted to stay closer home to family to save money for when she did travel to LA. And so she was a valedictorian from our high school. She went to Anza, and then she went to UCLA. So there's many different pathways for different opportunities for different people. And I also like to point out, yes, the value is about 16,000, but another good example I like to share is basically everyone in the US for a bachelor's degree has to take English 101, an English class. At the community college level, that's about $1,000 for that 3-unit class. At a state school, San Jose State, when I did the math, it was about $2,000. At Berkeley, it's a little over $5,000. And at Stanford, it's over $7,000. And it's all the same English 101 credits that you get credit for, and they all apply toward your bachelor's degree. But you can see $1,000 at a community college or $7,000 where one of our students is transferring this semester or next semester. So he'll be transferring to Stanford next semester, but he took his English 101 class at San Jose City College. So there he saved already $6,000. So just another opportunity to help you achieve your goals. Thank you. And then I think we're going back to Foothill and Anza now. George, is that George or?
So now we're going to talk about our individual campuses so that you get some idea about what the options are. And then after the presentation, each of us will be having a Zoom where you can talk with us individually about the campuses. So Foothill and Anza are 2 community colleges. They're 2 separate campuses, Foothill College and Anza College, that are part of the same system. They're 5 minutes driving apart. They're located right in the middle of Silicon Valley. Google's about 15 minutes out in front of Foothill. Apple's a walk just down the street from Anza, which is why you see the big Apple headquarters in all the material behind us. Steve Jobs, in fact, was an alumni. You saw that on the list. And all through his career, he used the theater at our Anza campus to introduce all the products Apple developed. So in our theater on the Anza campus, you first saw the Apple desktop. You saw the first laptop, the first iPhone, the first iWatch. So the environment where we're located is very, very stimulating. It's also warm year-round, so it's very comfortable and easy to be at. The tuition's quite affordable. It's about $9,000 a year. So you save a lot of money in the first 2 years. The thing that really distinguishes Foothill and De Anza is that we have a lot of #1 rankings among the 115 community colleges in California. We're ranked #1 for transfer and graduation into the University of California system, into the 9 campuses of the University of California. EdSmart.org has consistently ranked us as the best medium and large size community college for both student success and overall quality. We're also the stateuniversity.com has ranked us the safest community college in California. So it's a very prestigious kind of place to be able to study. We've got guaranteed transfer admissions to over 130 universities. So students have a lot of choices when they finish the 2 years with us, and our transfer rates into the University of California are top. So just as an example, you can see here on the slide, how many students transferred in 2021 out of the international population. About 750 students transferred, and you see 106 went to Berkeley, 120 to UCLA, and the numbers go on. So your transfer opportunities coming from us are top. Also, it's a really fun environment. We have all the same athletics and competitive teams that any university would have. Soccer is very popular both for men and women on the Foothill campus for Brazilians and the De Anza campus. And in fact, the captains of our team are often Brazilian students. So it's very active sports-wise. There's over 70 different clubs, lots of activities to be able to get to know other students and to have a good time while you're studying. We have over 100 different majors because we're large. So students can do the first 2 years of any major that they would want to be able to study the 3rd and 4th year of when they get to the university. So I'll be afterwards meeting in a Zoom that you can get the link to with a Brasileira who is a current student at Foothill, and we'll be really happy to answer specific questions about the opportunities at Foothill or De Anza. But remember, we're in Silicon Valley and it's a very exciting place to be able to study. Thank you.
Thank you, George. So George is our Foothill and De Anza are our neighbors, about 20 minutes away from San Jose. And we offer, in San Jose City College, offers similar programs. We have over 60 associate degree and certificate programs for students. And we're on a semester system. That's a little bit of a difference. So when you're researching schools, decide what might be the best system. So our semesters are 16 weeks, and we start at the end of August and the end of January. And what we have a little bit of a smaller program. We have about 300 international students on our campus every year. And so we're able to offer a lot of intensive support services. So our students sometimes need extra support and tutoring. We have free tutoring, or they get a lot of academic advising and career transfer advising, career advising, counseling. And then what I also like to point out is last year we were voted top 5 diverse faculty, most diverse faculty in the US. So that means that our students see teachers and professors who look like them, sound like them, who may not be native English speakers, who are learned English throughout the years, and now PhD holders and now teaching courses. One of our ESL and English teachers is from Brazil. And so it's always nice to talk with her, and she's always excited to hear when we're presenting and wanting to do more for our Brazilian students. So that's something we're really proud of, is how our faculty also can look like our students, because our students come from different parts of the world. And then another thing that I'm really proud of that our school did is, in this time of inflation, is technically our tuition went down by about $100 this year. It's not the most money in the world, but when everyone else is raising prices and the cost of everything and gas and milk is rising, actually our tuition is decreasing, because we recognize that the impact of the world and inflation going on in the world, and our district was really supportive of that. And we have a no-cost application, and a lot of our students also engage in employment opportunities on campus, or once they are eligible, they can work off campus. And I'll share a little bit more about one of the experiences of a Brazilian student who I met a couple of years ago. Can you go to the next slide, please? Rafaela from Brazil. She came to the US to study English first. She basically started at a level 1 in English classes and was at one of our local language schools. So we have partnerships with local language schools where students can begin their studies in the US who are not really confident or comfortable taking academic college level courses yet, but they still want to come to the US to start their experience. And so she was at one of our local language schools for almost 2 years. And then she transferred to San Jose City College to study media arts. She earned her media arts associate degree. She's now doing OPT, which is OPT is an employment opportunity where students can work full time, all with the same F1 visa. So she's been on the same F1 visa for quite a while now, and now she's looking to transfer to complete her bachelor's degree. So she's been a great success story, and she's really a great person and just a really big advocate for community colleges now, and taking that big leap from not really knowing any English and coming to the US and bringing her family here, and now staying for at least, maybe this is 5 years now, and then she's going to stay a little bit longer to complete her bachelor's degree. So there's many different pathways to your studies in the US, and we're here to support you and help you all in whatever your educational or professional goals are. Thank you.
Hi, Joe, thank you. I used to teach at San Jose Area Green Community College for 14 years. I was an engineering faculty there, so it's great.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm a bit,
Yes,
okay, so right now, but I'm at Shasta College, right? So Shasta College, with over 70 years of history, Shasta College actually has a great reputation for the academic excellence and provide our students with the top level education, right? So Shasta College, actually, we are a leader in the higher education in California. The college won the highly selective innovation in higher education award 3 times for programs that help our students succeed. Next, please. Where is Shasta College? Okay, so we are located in Northern California. If you are familiar with California, we are located on I-5, which is a major corridor running from Mexico all the way to Canada. So we are located in a city called Reading, which is right on I-5, right? So, which is about 220 miles north of San Francisco, about 160 miles north of our state capital, Sacramento, right? We have airport, have a flight from San Francisco and also from LA, I think also Las Vegas and also Seattle. So next, please. Now, Shasta College is a part of course, the California higher education system. We are a comprehensive 2-year college accredited by WASC, which is the Western Association for School and College, which is the same, of course, organization that accredited UC Berkeley in LA, right? So we offer over 124 transfer degree and certificate programs at over 12,000 students. So on a big campus, we have 337-acre campus, which is actually bigger than Harvard. Harvard's 229, right? So, but two of our major advantage of attending Shasta College is we are located in a small town. It's a very safe place. It's a very beautiful place. And the other thing is the cost of living is very, very low, right? So if you live in your dorm, so that's another advantage. So we are one of the very few community college, only 11 out of the 115 community college in California that actually have a dorm on campus. If you live in your dorm, it's only cost you share a room with a student, it's only $450 a month. Well, let's say if you live in the Bay Area, you probably pay between $1,000 to $2,000 a month. So as you can see, you can have a significant saving by living in our area. In addition, our tuition and fee is also lower than the average California community college because of our strong financial position, right? So you're all well. We have very strong support team. We have free tutoring and free counseling. So we welcome you to take a look Shasta College and welcome you to Shasta College. Thanks.
All right, thank you. So I'm the final California school. So after this, we're going to move on to talk about the other community colleges in different states. But my name is Christopher Toribio. I am from Orange Coast College, which is a 2-year community college in Southern California in the city of Costa Mesa. We have a lot going on at OCC. We're one of the largest community colleges in California, educating 22,000 students, 1,200 international students, and we also offer a wide range of programs. So in total, we offer 135 different majors, and also a lot of majors that are very unique to OCC, including the largest 2-year marine science program in the US. And we also have a lot of vocational technical programs that many of our international students have decided to pursue. So if you want to transfer, that's great. If you just want to get an associate's degree, that's great as well too. We will support you in any educational endeavor that we have. Most importantly about OCC is that we have really strong support for international students. We love our international students at OCC, and we specifically love our Brazilian students. Our Brazilian students have done incredibly well at OCC, doing many different things on campus after they transferred in their careers right now in many different fields. Enzo right here is a filmmaker in New York City. Eduardo here, he earned a full NCAA scholarship to compete in water polo. Natan right here got his bachelor's degree in Florida. Now he's working in Portugal. And Daniela here, she was our student body president. She was from Brazil. And she got accepted to the University of Toronto. So you can transfer outside of the US as well too. But a lot going on at OCC. We like to talk about our students mostly. So therefore, I have my student Cloris here from Brazil. She's one of our alumni. She's going to just quickly introduce herself, and she's going to be answering questions in our breakout session later after this presentation. And of course, she'll do it in Portuguese. So Cloris, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Cloris. I studied in OCC and I also worked at OCC for a while. It's been what, Chris, 2 years? No, 3-4 years now.
Yeah, she was a student assistant.
Yeah, so when I was in the US, I was not really sure if I wanted to study or not. So, you know, once I figured that out, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So community college was so great because I was able to explore different classes, and it's a totally different system than what we have in Brazil. So yeah, I always joke that if I could go back in time and have gone to a 4-year university since the beginning, I would have not done it, because the experiences that you get at a community college are truly, truly like a once in a lifetime thing.
Thank you, Cloris, and really proud of Cloris. Cloris is going to be pursuing her master's degree at Clemson University. So congratulations, Cloris. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Chris. Hi, everyone again. My name is Mike Laffey. I'm from Santa Fe College here in Gainesville, Florida, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Santa Fe College, about the Florida college system, and the relationship between community colleges here in the state with public universities. So Santa Fe College, we were the recipient of the Aspen Prize winner for Community College Excellence. As George mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, there are close to 1,100 community colleges in the country. And so Santa Fe received this prestigious award for teaching and learning excellence, for transfer rate for bachelor degree completion. So it was a great achievement for the college. But again, we are here in North Central Florida. We have 8 campuses in the Gainesville area, which is quite common for community colleges to have more than one location, although the majority of our international students take their classes at the main campus. And we offer primarily three degree programs. More than 80% of our international students are in the Associate in Arts degree program, which is the university transfer program. They are in the 2+2 model. But we do have international students who come for 2-year degrees and then go directly into the workforce, and they would be in the AS degrees. And in the last 10 years or so, Santa Fe College has started 9 different bachelor's degree programs. And so what we see sometimes, students will come and start in the AA degree and then decide they want to stay and study for all 4 years at Santa Fe College. And so that's a great opportunity. And there's reasons for deciding that. A lot of the students enjoy the smaller class sizes, the personalized attention that they receive from both the faculty and the support services. And Gainesville is a college town, certainly a college town. I am just about a mile away from the University of Florida, which is Santa Fe College's most important partner. And so between the two institutions, between Santa Fe College and the University of Florida, there are close to 75,000 students living here in the city. So basically half of the population is made up of students. So it's a great, diverse, warm, and welcoming place. I listed there the international admissions process just to give you an idea. We try to make it straightforward and to eliminate barriers to access to enrollment. The application is free. Students do not need to pay an application fee. The primary requirement is proof of high school completion and proof of English language proficiency, and students have a variety of ways to do that. We just recently approved the Duolingo academic test. Many of our students are taking advantage of that. Next slide, please, Chris. So I won't read it, obviously, the text here, but the reason I included this slide is in the state of Florida, it is the law that students who graduate with an AA degree will be admitted into at least one public university in the state. So there are 28 colleges in the Florida college system, and there are 12 public universities. And the relationship between the colleges and the universities is very important in our state. And so while the majority of our students look to transfer and stay here in Gainesville and go to the University of Florida, we transfer students all over the state, University of Central Florida in Orlando, FIU in Miami, University of South Florida in Tampa, and so on. But also students transfer out of the state as well. We've had students go to Texas, we've had students go to California, we've had students go to universities in the Midwest. And so that is an option. And so I think that the overarching message that all of us are sending is that the AA degree, the associate degree, will open doors for you and give you access to going to the university of your choice. Next. And just quickly here, this is just in the state of Florida, each community college is required to have at least one direct articulation agreement with the university. Santa Fe College has 6. Our newest one there is the New College of Florida in Sarasota. And so what we really want to do is provide clear, well-defined pathways for students so that when they arrive at Santa Fe College, they know exactly what they need to do to transfer to the university of their choice. And so students will get an assigned advisor, get access to scholarship information, will have access to meeting with people from those universities so that they can graduate in 2 years and then start year 3 at the university of their choice.
Thank you. So again, my name is Claudia Ortiz. I'm very happy to be here and to tell you some of the reasons why students choose to come to MassBay. So I wanted to give you an overview of MassBay Community College. So we are very delighted that we have been ranked as #1 community college in Massachusetts based on the earned salaries in the workforce and the transfer rates of our graduates. We offer over 70 programs, and that includes STEM, education, business, automobile, I mean, you name it. There is so many programs in terms of the associate and degrees. We have seen a lot of students taking the opportunity to really pursue and explore a career, and not only for the students that had graduated from high school, but for example, I'll tell you about Daniel da Silva, a student that had graduated already in Brazil, but I wanted to have the opportunity and came and did a certificate in business and really explored that opportunity. So as we were mentioning, there is lots of access for our students. So, and in terms of the location, which is very important for our students, MassBay is located less than 10 miles. So I guess it's 12 kilometers from Boston, which is very accessible to public transportation. And recently, Boston has been ranked as one of the best cities in the US for college students. So it is a great city for the students to study. MassBay is very diverse, and not only in terms of ethnicity, but at the age of the students. You will see students from 16 graduated from high school, students coming back for another certificate or an associate, which students benefit from that interaction, from the experience of their peers in the classrooms. It is very affordable. Basically, we mentioned it that that's one of the components of community college. But in terms of being in Massachusetts and in Boston, definitely it is one of the things that our students come benefit is less than $12,000 per year, which they really are able to afford and save in order to pursue their careers in a bachelor's degree. We had 3 campuses, which I mentioned it is part of the location, but it's one in Wesley campus and another one in Framingham and in Ashland. And the students move and transfer classes from here and there. They had the flexibility of really taking the advantage of taking classes from all those 3 campuses. And the biggest component and factors that students come to MassBay is in terms of the transfer. We have seen a student success. They are coming here, or slow is start here and go anywhere. You know, a lot of the students benefit from the mass transfer, which is basically, it is a program that all the credits that you will be taking at MassBay, they will be transferable to any of the state school in Massachusetts. For example, UMass, Salem State, Framingham State, and they actually go directly to any of these public institutions. So I think that that's one of the biggest components, and the students we have seen not only going into the public school, but private institutions. Most of our students have been going to Northeastern University, BU, Bentley, depending on the program that they decide to do. 2 years ago, we were really proud just to see a student that I was accepted into Harvard University. That was such a successful story. And we've seen students that are interested in the STEM program. They had been accepted at MIT, as you might know, one of the very prestigious universities. So definitely it has been a very great opportunities for the students, as we continue saying, start here and go anywhere. Is definitely what is your goal, where do you want to see, and we wanted to help you to achieve that goal. So we are here to support on that. Most of the time, community college don't have housing. However, we have a very strong agreement with Framingham State University, which has allowed of our students to stay in their dormitories. So as long as they're full-time student, they are able to stay there, which the students benefit in a great way, because not only have access to the services of MassBay in the campus, but again, using the services at Framingham State University, one of our strongest institutions that we have programs and that we have an agreement with. And the students, it's only 15 minutes, and there is an Uber program if they don't benefit from the public transportation. So students really take an advantage of the housing program. So next slide, please. And here I'm just providing you our contact information. I'll be available to ask any questions more about MassBay, but it's a very straightforward. You only need to provide us your high school diploma, submit your applications and English proficiency, and financial documents if you want to be applying for the college. We're here to connect with you and answer any questions, so please visit, and you can do it through any of the social media as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia. And so we'll finish up today with a little introduction to my university, the University of Missouri, or as you can see from the nickname on the slide there, we often go by Mizzou. So Mizzou is a comprehensive research university located right in the center of the United States. We're in the city of Columbia, Missouri, which is typically rated as one of the top college towns in the US. And what college towns are usually smaller cities that will often have very large populations of students. I know Mike had referred to it earlier when he talked about Gainesville, another great college town. But here in Columbia, our campus, we have about 31,000 students. Those students come from all 50 of the US states, as well as from right now 114 different countries around the world, Brazil being the 5th most represented of all of those. So if you did come to study with us, you wouldn't be the lone brasileiro on campus. You would be able to find certainly some friends already here. Now, one of the reasons we attract so many students is that we have a very comprehensive list of programs offered. You can see that we offer over 300 different degree programs, and those are going to be spread across many different areas. So College of Engineering, we're very famous for our School of Journalism, which was actually the first school of journalism in the world. Our Trulas College of Business, certainly in the health and medical fields, we have very strong programs, as well as your traditional physical sciences and arts and humanities. Now, students on campus benefit from our stature as a research university and a member of a group called the AAU, or the Association of American Universities, which are some of the top research schools throughout the US. Now, as an undergraduate student and potentially a student coming in on a 2+2 program or transferring from any of the great community college partners that I'm presenting with today, or others with whom we have agreements, or even those with whom we don't, the reason this research impact can really benefit you is, one, it attracts top faculty from around the world. So on our campus, you can see last year, we actually spent nearly $400 million in research, and we have incredible facilities all across campus to facilitate that research. Well, that attracts top faculty in their fields who want to come and be able to have that supportive research environment. And then they're going to be the instructors that you're going to have in class. Even though we are a large university, particularly for students coming from maybe a community college setting where they have had a little more intimate classrooms, we still like to make sure that students have access to their faculty members. We have an 18-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and the average class size here on our campus is only 27 students. So still a lot of time that you're going to be able to interact with some of those top faculty. We're also very proud of, on our campus, what we call the Missouri Method, which is our teaching philosophy that intentionally incorporates experiential learning opportunities into every program we offer. These can take the form of build clubs, competitions, internships, and other professional development experiences, as well as on-campus research. So linking back to that research focus that we have here as an AAU R1 university. So I know we're kind of finishing up here. We're coming to the end of our hour, but would like to thank everyone, in particular EdUSA, for hosting us, and all of the students for joining. And as mentioned, I think most of the schools here today are going to jump onto their own private Zoom room. So you'll have an opportunity to engage and maybe ask questions of any of the schools that you may have interest in. But to finish up, I'll turn things back over to Marina.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you so much, everyone, for that wonderful presentation. It was so informative. The slides are great and such good information. I know I wrote down some notes, and hopefully the students did too. I know Marco was also taking some notes. It was really, really great. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. It's been a great event, and we are so lucky to close out this week with you, and it was lovely. We're going to put the link in the chat right now for your Zoom rooms, and then hopefully we'll have many great conversations with the students here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Thank you.
Saturday.
Thank you. It's a great presentation.